number of years ago when I was teaching school, I played this game that was called the change game. And in that change game, what I realized was that I was what they called a change agent, meaning that while it wasn't necessarily comfortable for me to change, I at least understood that change needed to happen. So long story short, I was asked to be on a part of a special committee getting special training from Maryland State teachers and eventually through National Education Association. And I was part of a small team, which went from, about 8 or 10 down to pretty much 3 by the time we were finished. They really wanted to bring substantial change to our school and organization. Little did I know that my personality was one where I wanted to make sure things got done quickly and became very direct. If you're familiar with the DISC assessments, I was what they call a high D, very much a DC type personality with stronger D style. And because things were moving so slow and I could see the possibilities because I was also visionary, I started to steamroll the change. Well, if you have ever steamrolled change, it's really not a good idea, because what I ended up doing was alienating nearly everybody on the entire staff. So at one point over the summer, I really started to think that there was something neurologically wrong with me. I just felt like my body just weighed a ton and I could barely move from the sofa, and my arms and legs just felt so heavy. And I thought, do I need to call a doctor? I didn't need to call my principal. Well, I finally decided I'm going to call my principal, and I went down and talked to him. And I asked him to help me get a transfer to a different school. And I explained to him all the things that happened and how I'd alienated all the teachers and how they had treated me so poorly and pretty much acted like it didn't even exist. And he said, you know what? He says, I believe that you will be in charge of the school improvement team. And I just kind of laughed. It was the only time I laughed. Most of that meeting, I was close to tears. And I said, these people hate my guts. And he said, you just need to learn how to work with them differently. Well, that was the best piece of advice I think I'd had in a long time. And I took that to heart. And I started learning about personalities. It just so happened about that same time, I had the opportunity to go to multiple business type meetings where they talked about the DISC personalities and how to deal with people and how to work with them. So I took that information and I utilized it in working with those teachers and helping to get them onto my side without steamrolling, so that we could start to make progress in the school. And it worked. And I have been a fan of DISC personalities ever since, to the point where I've taught multiple lessons on DISC. And I, incorporate that with my clients so that they can work with their people better, because they have an understanding of the different personalities and how to interact with them. We need all 4 of those type personalities, which is really more than 4, because you have 4 strengths, but you have subdivisions also. And you need those different personalities, and you need to understand them so that you can interact with people, because they each have their strengths that they bring, and they each have their weaknesses. So if you're not familiar with DISC, I really think you need to start to learn about it. And if you are interested in having your company or your organization to function better and to be able to understand and relate to each other in a way that we lift people up instead of making fun of them or pulling them down, it's a great tool. And I'd be happy to work with you or your company with that. My name's Patricia Stepper. My business is Your Dream Power, and I want you to